Guys are excited to be going to the Sugar Bowl. We're awfully proud of our seniors who have once again led us to a championship in the Big Ten and a chance to play in a BCS game, the magnitude of the Sugar Bowl, playing against a great team in Arkansas. And I know our seniors have been there before, and to me, the thing I remember most about our time in New Orleans was the people, how excited they are to host that game, and just the great pride they have in their city and in the history of their game. It's what, the 76th or 7th Sugar Bowl, and you think about the games that have been played in the Sugar Bowl in your lifetime. You know, it's neat to be a part of that long history, and we're anxious to get our final exams underway tomorrow and get back to work at the end of the week and prepare for an exciting game on January the 4th.
Jim, what do you know about Arkansas? I mean, just obviously you know their starting quarterback, Ryan Mallett. I mean, how intriguing is it to go against a kind of a school though y'all have never faced before?
I think it'll be exciting for everyone. An Ohio State-Arkansas matchup, I think, will capture the interest of the country, especially when you're talking about two quarterbacks that I think everyone in the country knows about, and in Ryan Mallett and Terrell Pryor, and you know, two outstanding programs. If you look at Arkansas, I don't know too much about them other than the fact that they only had 2 losses, and they were to Alabama and Auburn, 2 of the best teams in the country. And so they're a great football team, and we'll be getting some film in, I'm sure, here pretty quick. We're in the midst of doing a little bit of recruiting here for a few days while we're in final exams, and come Thursday we'll be back and have a chance to really dig into that. But I just think the thought of it, for Ohio State and Arkansas, you know, that's an exciting thought.
And the SEC again, I mean, the chance to knock them off, and 2 great conferences.
Absolutely. You know, any time that you get to match those 2 conferences and play people from a league like that, you know, the road that Arkansas traveled to get to this point, you know, is a battle every weekend, just like we feel as if the Big Ten road is a tough one, and so we're really excited, you know, to be in a matchup like this.
Jim, I know it has no effect on your game now, but just the 0-9 record for Ohio State against the SEC in bowl games, is that just, it's almost sort of hard to believe, almost, or what do you think when you hear a number like that?
Well, I think when you hear about matchups with SEC teams, number one, you know you're going to play great teams. And it just so happens that, you know, the record is what it is, in large part because you played against great football teams. And but as you say, it really doesn't have a bearing on this one. In this one, you've got to do the things it takes to beat a great football team, and they make it hard because they block well, they tackle well, they throw well, they catch well. You know, they play the game well, and we're going to have to be at our best. There's no question about it. And but what would you want? You know, for you get that bonus of another month of football, and that bonus comes with it a chance to play against a great team, and you know, in a great conference, and shoot, that's what you trained all year for.
When you think Arkansas 2010, though, do you think a team that comes out throwing the ball from the get-go? I mean, I think they threw like 30 or 40 more passes than they ran the ball this year. They still have a 1,200-yard running back, and Mallett. You know about Mallett and stuff. What's the first thing that comes to mind about their approach?
Well, yeah, I think because we're most familiar with Ryan, that would come to our mind first. We know how great a player he was when he was in our conference, and he's done nothing but grow into an even finer player. My bet would be, though, and again, without watching any film, if you're going to be successful in that league, you could not be one-dimensional. And so I'm sure that they not only do a great job throwing it, they do a great job protecting, they do a great job of running the football, and they do a good job flying around on defense, because you know, every week you're tested. And but you know, the thing we're most familiar with, of course, is Ryan Mallett.
Jim, there were 3 11-1 teams, obviously, in the Big Ten. Michigan State this last week was really trying to kind of make their case and make a push. Was that a little bit interesting? I mean, Mark's such a good friend of yours. They were really trying to kind of lobby and push for that spot.
Well, you know, I think, you know, as they should. Michigan State's responsibility is to their kids and their program, and they did nearly everything you could ask of them. You know, they won 11 football games, and typically in the Big Ten, if you are an 11-1 team, you have a darn good chance to be in a BCS game. But they're not gonna blink, because they're gonna be in a heck of a ball game in their own right, and it'll have a lot of attention and so forth. But no, I'd be disappointed with Mark or Michigan State as a whole if they didn't stand up and say, hey, wait a minute, what about us?
Do you know anything about one of their traditions, calling the Hogs?
Do I know anything about it?
Yeah.
No, other than they have a tradition. And the only time I've been to Arkansas was when we visited spring practice at Arkansas. And,
How long ago?
A long time ago. I was an assistant here. I know our staff, since I've been here, has been there. I didn't make that trip. 3 or 4 years ago, our staff visited at their spring practice. But the only thing I remember about that tradition is that Fred Puggich was on our staff, and he bought one of those hats, and we drove a bus down there actually to visit, and the whole way home he was calling the Hogs the whole way back. You guys can all, you veterans all remember Coach Pug, and you can picture him calling the Hogs.
Was Holt still there then, or
Yes.
that
It was Lou Holtz. Yeah.
Jim, obviously this is the 9th BCS game for Ohio State in the 13 years of this way of doing things. Beyond what Ohio State accomplishes on the field, what else is it, do you think, that makes Ohio State attractive when these, at-large selections are out there? Obviously, the one-loss record is there, but what else makes Ohio State want to be taken?
Well, number one, you can't get in the discussion without the one-loss record, and then number two, I think every bowl looks at what type of television audience could this attract, what type of fans, what's your history of bowl attendance and those kinds of things, and the thing I think every bowl knows about Ohio State is that our folks, they could go to 50 bowls in a row and they'd still be excited about going to a bowl game, and I know whether it was BCS games or non-BCS games, since I've been here, we've had a tremendous following. People that don't get to Columbus maybe because of where they live, but they're Buckeye fans, and I don't care where you go in this country, you can find a whole bunch of Buckeye fans, and they will find their way to New Orleans, because we're going to need them. You're going in essence kind of like the visiting team. Well, we need to take a whole bunch of fans with us so it doesn't feel as if it's a visiting situation.
The Big Ten race was finally decided tonight when the BCS ratings came out, Wisconsin officially. Are you looking forward to next year when it's settled on the field, kind of finally, so to speak?
Oh, right now, I'd be honest with you, I'm looking forward to what we're doing right now. I suppose if you asked me to reflect down the road, there's some pluses to having a conference championship game. We were sitting in a recruiting meeting tonight after our football banquet for a couple hours, and we talked about the fact that I wonder what these teams do that just spent this past week preparing for a conference championship game. I don't know how the heck they catch up in getting out to see, the kids they would like to see. And so, I think the fact that, maybe someone who was 11-1 or whatever wouldn't get left out of where they felt they belonged,
Right.
That type of thing. But, there's pluses and minuses to every situation, and when we're in that situation, I'll think it's the best one in the world. That's just the way we look at things. Right now, it's not the situation, and this is the best one. You remember the old quote, "Paradise is where I am," and we're in paradise right now.
I used to go, when you think of Arkansas, Bobby Petrino, what comes to mind? This guy at Louisville was known for throwing the ball. What just jumps out at you about him?
Well, the thing that I am most familiar with Coach Petrino was the great teams he had at Louisville. He had outstanding football teams, and they were pro-style passing teams with good physical running games along with them, which, again, I'm sure once we study the film, that's exactly what Arkansas is going to be. He's won, with that system. He has a system that he knows and believes in, and you know, obviously has taken Arkansas to, you know, a 10-2 record, which, you know, again, in that league, to be 10-2, he's done a whale of a job.
Can you talk about seeing Braxton play last night, what you expect from him when he gets here?
You know, we're not allowed to talk about recruits, other than the fact that whether or not we're interested in them, and we're interested in
Because he
Braxton.
hasn't signed.
Dean Sansabacher, MVP today.
Yeah.
What just stands out about him? And
Well, you know, I've been a head
Surprised?
coach. I've been a head coach for 25 years, and in all 25 years, we've had the team vote on the MVP and the most inspirational player. And it has always ended up being clearly two different guys. This is the first time in 25 years it was a landslide, the same guy. So, you know, I've never seen anything like that. As I was looking at the ballots, I was trying to think, you try to spread the wealth and the, you know, the notoriety, and as you looked at it, it would have been impossible to do that in this case. And so for Dane to not only have been recognized for his great play in the field as an MVP, but also the fact that he inspired guys, you know, just through who he is. You know, that just tells you how extraordinary Dane Sansabacher is.
Coach, today's your birthday. First of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Any highlights from the day?
Yeah, the Sugar Bowl. I mean, how many people got a Sugar Bowl for their birthday? You know, that's pretty cool.
Anything beyond that?
I don't know, I haven't been home yet. I'm hoping to get, you know, maybe a tie. Not sure.
The streak that Doug was talking about with BCS games, I'll ask the players this too, but I'll ask you, is there a big difference, do you guys feel it in a BCS game to say like your first year with the Outback, or if it had been the Capital One, another New Year's Day Bowl against an SEC team, does it feel different, or is it just?
Well, you know, I think you go into the year, you know, with the ultimate goal in mind that you'd like to play in the championship game. And then we always say that if, you know, if we didn't earn that, you know, obviously you'd like to be the automatic, you know, recipient, you know, of your conference alignment, which in our case is the Rose Bowl. But of course you'd like to be in a BCS game. You know, there's something about being in, you know, one of the top 10 teams in the country. There's 10 teams that play in the BCS, and, you know, if you can earn your way into the top 10, you know, it's a heck of a thing. I know this, when we were awaiting to see where we were going in 2001 and we got picked to the Outback Bowl, that was a big deal to us because, you know, we were, what, I don't know, 7-4 at the time, and you know, we weren't going to be in a BCS game, and we were excited to be in the Outback Bowl. I know when we went to the Alamo Bowl, that was a big deal to us, and our kids prepared hard, and I thought went and played hard, and so, you know, I think at the outset, you know, you have certain things you'd like to do, but I haven't been to a bowl game yet that I didn't love.
You mentioned Ryan Mallett a couple of times, but specifically when he was at Michigan and you did see a little bit of him, what did you think of him as a young quarterback there? And then just what were your thoughts when he did decide to leave Michigan?
Well, great size with a lightning quick release. His arm strength, I thought back when, you know, he was a freshman, was extraordinary. And the bits and pieces I've seen on highlights and so forth, you know, he's one of those special guys. I think he's going to play for a long time at that position. What was my reaction when he left? I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, I was happy. And, you know, I thought I was through with Ryan Mallett, but but you know, he's a special player, and you know, he'll bring, you know, something to this game, and we're part of this game. And so, just like I'd like to think Ohio State will bring something to this game, and you know, Arkansas is part of the game. So, you know, I'm sure both teams are ecstatic right now.
Jim,